Good afternoon, everybody. I am Anna Hamling from the University of New Brunswick in Canada, and today, very briefly, I will focus on religious and secular pilgrimages. I will just explain the concepts, and if you have any questions, you might as well email me at ahamling@unb.ca. So, here we are. Pilgrimage has been one of the oldest regular way of mobility in human life. As Victor and Edith Sterner point out, I quote, pilgrimages are probably of ancient origin, and they were found even among populations that anthropologists call tribal, like the Huikol, Lunda, and the Shona. But institutionalized pilgrimage became of real importance with the advent of great religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Therefore, the desire to take a journey started in the primitive societies with its continuation to ancient and modern times. But the meaning of a pilgrimage as a religious journey to the holy sites has been modified and expanded in the 21st century. It is the result of the global process that involves different forms of travel, from physical movement of migration to tourism and pilgrimage of people. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, pilgrimage connotates a religious journey. I quote, a journey of a pilgrim, especially one to a shrine or the sacred place. End of quote, but its derivation from the Latin peregrinus allows broader interpretations, including foreigner, wanderer, exile, and traveler, as well as newcomer and stranger. The term tourist is one, I quote, one that makes a tour for pleasure or culture. It is from the book of Margui in 2016, Pilgrimages. And Margui also claims that the contemporary use of the terms identifying the pilgrim as a religious traveler and the tourist as a vacationer is a culturally constructed polarity that veils the traveler's motives. Analysis of this relationship has focused on the similarity and the difference between the tourists and the pilgrims. And again, it is from Turner and Turner from 1978 book. Pilgrims and tourists are different actors situated at opposite ends. The polarities on the pilgrimage tourism axis are labeled sacred versus secular. Between them ranges an almost endless list of possible sacred-secular combinations, with the central area now generally termed religious tourism. These positions reflect the multiple and changing motivations of the traveler, whose interests and activities may switch from tourism to pilgrimage and vice versa, even without the individual being aware of the change. Marie Mansfield in 2016 uses the term knowledge-based tourism as synonymous with religious tourism. Most researchers identify religious tourism with the individual quest for shrines and for example, places in lieu of piety. Visitors seek to experience a sense of identity with sites of historical and cultural meaning. In the 21st century, the centers of religious and tourist pilgrimage are experiencing functional structure changes, mostly through territory sector development, and in some cases, industry development, agriculture, culture, art, and architecture. Some pilgrimage places have become important centers of religious tourism. And here we can, of course, mention Santiago de Compostela in Spain, which has the Camino of St. James. Then, of course, pilgrimage to Rome, to Jerusalem, to Częstochowa. Some other authors, for example, Turner, insist on the analogy between pilgrimage and tourism. According to Turner, a tourist is a half pilgrim and a pilgrim is half tourist. It would not be correct to equalize tourism with different forms of religious and non-religious pilgrimages, but pilgrimage has some elements of a tourist journey, and that some tourist journeys have certain elements of pilgrimage. It is also a reflection of essential complexity and ambivalence pervading the two phenomena. Some tourist journeys can be filled with respect and worship of the goal to such an extent that they can be freely identified as modern forms of pilgrimage. On the other hand, some formal pilgrimages can be completely devoid of faith, respect, and worship, so the essence of pilgrimage can be denied. They can be classified as an entertaining form of travel. In order to perceive similarities and differences, in order to determine connection between a tourist journey and pilgrimage, it is necessity to begin with determining the most important common causes of both phenomena. That is, some essential human needs and ideals which are manifested through both phenomena in some way. Today's pilgrimage differs from the pilgrimage of medieval times. The journey of medieval pilgrimages represented sacrifices. Modern pilgrims, walking for days and weeks on end, strive to achieve their well-being by eliminating negative effects of modern everyday life. The experience of walking a long distance in quiet and scenic surroundings can even be perceived as a religious goal in itself, and not as a means to arrive at the holy shrine at the end of the route. So, of course, well, if we talk about a half pilgrimage, half tourist journey to the Memphis and Elvis Presley, for some people it is really a religious pilgrimage because they view Elvis Presley as an icon of secular religion. But people who go to visit Santiago de Compostela, well, it can be half pilgrim and half tourism, but majority of them really have this goal of discovering in the church, in the Basilica, St. James. So it is the Camino of St. James, the way of St. James. But of course, they also combine the tourist attractions en route and walk to have get rid of everyday life stresses. So, as I said, this is pretty short, but I thank you ever so much for your attention. I wish I could be with you, but it was not possible this year. Thank you. Here.